Hey everybody, this is Xander the Blue, and I'm here with Dragor, and we are here to ask, what the Flix?
My roommates don't like it when I do that.
Yeah, I am Xander the Blue, this is Dragor, and I said that already. We are not here with Chris. He is not here to join us today, unfortunately, but we are going to talk about the USS Callister from Black Mirror.
Yes!
And you
it's the
just
first
saw
time and only time that my Vulcan wave will be vaguely on topic.
Yeah. I can do
Unless I somehow make all of you watch all of Star Trek.
Trying to do the thing you do.
Wait. Alright, here's the stupid human trick. Let's get this out of the way.
Okay, do it.
Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh no, I think you dropped out for the frames, because, you know.
Did I really? Whatever.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Okay. So let's talk about this stupid movie. Actually, it's...
I'm trying to decide if movie is the right term, because
it's a movie.
It was almost there. It almost could have been released in a theater.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
To me, the production values were phenomenal.
Oh, sure. I think, yeah, you definitely knew it was a Black Mirror episode. It didn't... I mean, obviously, spoilers for anyone who's going into this. Hopefully, you've already seen it.
This is going to be very spoiler.
Oh, super spoiler. But it's a happy ending for once in a Black Mirror episode.
I suppose the big thing we should talk about is you have been badgering me to get into Black Mirror for a long time. And I did it for Bandersnatch because choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I'm like, I don't want to watch...
depressing things.
Depressing, yeah. Like, oh, look, here's a cool thing. No, it's going to kill humanity. It's going to swallow your soul. Get fucked. But this one, I am such a Trekkie, I could not put this off. So this is my technical second foray into Bandersnatch, but first pure episode.
So, let me ask you, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Were you taken... it presents itself as a regular episode of a sci-fi show.
Yes.
Were you fully on board of it being a show yet, or did you have suspicions?
I genuinely did not know if it was a put-on or not. Mm-hmm. I'm watching it, wondering... Honestly, I don't know enough about the show or its influences. I kind of wondered if the whole episode was going to be played straight, if you will.
Oh, sure.
I wasn't even looking for a twist. When it cuts to and shows him in what is quickly revealed to be some kind of real world or what have you, mm-hmm. I didn't know if it was a game. I didn't know if it was a show. I didn't know if it was... I figured out pretty quickly that it must have been something not real.
Oh, sure.
But that opening scene by itself... I didn't know what it was. I genuinely did not know. And that was a pleasant surprise that I couldn't tell it was done that well.
Right. And then
the biggest clue was his Shatner homage. I'm going to call it an homage, not a parody.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It wasn't done to be mean. It was spot on.
It really was. I mean, it was a bit over the edge. Well, eventually. But, yeah. As far as, everyone having to kiss him and all that, hip, hip, hooray. Was that right away?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That was the bigger head scratch. Well, I thought, to me, if it was going to be played straight and it was all going to be in that universe, that would be quite the spin. Star Trek was never about that. So to have such a thorough original series Star Trek thing... But to have this weird twist on it,
mm-hmm.
All right, but are we doing alternate universe stuff from the get-go? Turns out I was kind of right.
Yeah, you were kind of right. There's a lot of that. Oh, we're alternate universe. Oh, it's a real world. Oh, wait. That whole thing. Which, it's funny, you were messaging me as you were watching it.
Yes.
So I don't think we're far enough. What were some of the first messages... Oh, yeah, what was the first thing you sent me? Are we that even...
All right. Just bear with me here. Here's Custard the donkey while I look
Custard! Up. The official mascot of First Squared. Go to First Squared. It's in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
it's a good time. And you're pulling up your notes?
Yes. Okay. The first thing I said was, his passiveness bothers me.
Right. So then you were already in the real world, obviously, by now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was also live tweeting it a little bit, which no one saw, mercifully.
Oh. I'll have to go check.
So what I first tweeted was Meth Damon does a great Star Trek era William Shatner homage. Mm-hmm. And then somewhere after that, but I think it was a bit after the real world. Yeah, it was. All right, let's talk about the real world, and I'll tell you the next one because it's a good one. Yeah, his passiveness bothers me, and then I'm like, you tell me it's important to his character, which obviously it is.
Yeah.
To which I say, I know it will be. I'm just whining, and then 10 seconds later, oh, that took a change.
Yes. And that's after he starts collecting the DNA, right? Or is that what you're... When did you start saying...
Sorry, can you still see me? My screen just turned off.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I see you. When did you say that took a change?
I said that took a change right when I tweeted, okay, I don't think I ever saw Captain Kirk choke out Bones.
That's fair.
And then... Well, so you drive this. What do you want to get out of me through
Well, my alarms really started first going off when he started collecting the stuff, like the cup and everything like that. I didn't catch on.
So my gut reaction was he was gonna, like, at first I thought, oh, he's gonna get a cup and he's gonna sabotage something, or like they have some biometric sensor or something, and then it really, really quickly gets horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, when she wakes up and like everything's like, I kind of got the idea what was happening already, and like, I was so on board. I was so happy.
When he was putting the DNA thing in, I honestly thought it was more of the, and I guess I shouldn't have been as surprised as I was, Star Trek Next Gen. Barclay is in the holodeck and has the holodeck versions of all the people, but they're just holograms. They're not sentient.
Right.
The immediate, holy crap, was they are living sentient clones.
Yeah.
Vague plot hole that your DNA carries your memories. End plot hole. They just washed right over that.
Hey, you know...
Just your spit contains your memories.
Right, exactly. Up to this point, it has everything that is you.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But you know what? I guess good on them that they didn't even address it. They're just like, fuck it, run with it. Work with us on this.
Yeah. It's all, metaphor and all that shit anyway.
So, yeah, she wakes up and what a cool idea that it was just that fully formed of a world. So, like, there's a bit of 13th floor in that one. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I actually didn't.
I recommend it as a historical piece that had good ideas but poor execution.
It was right around that time in the late 90s, too. Like,
yeah, it was that was a different studio's attempt at combating the Matrix.
Yes.
It did not work. But it wasn't bad. But, so then, the next thing I tweeted, this version of Face Off is way more horrifying. Damn.
Oh, no, because she lost her face.
Yes, but then he whispers to her, I could leave you like this forever, permanently gasping for air. Oh. Like, they completely establish that aging is also not necessarily a thing in this.
Right.
That, like, they just casually introduce mortality, or immortality, in the most horrifying way possible.
And, I don't want to, like, spoil it too much, but I think this is a reoccurring, especially toward the later seasons of Black Mirror, I think it plays a lot with AI rights. Like, at what point, like, does an AI have rights? Like, you can't just make a being that's going to last forever and suffer, like that no breathing thing that you mentioned like that.
Oh, yeah. And then there's just so many deeper questions to it.
Oh, sure.
Well, to me, and it also plays with, all right, so they can scan and sequence and fake build that accurate of a person following this world's logic. That's not that hard. That's not that far off from printing people and then uploading them.
Right. It's a simulation theory a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but this guy basically makes this MMO where he decides to live. And you know what's funny? You mentioned his passiveness. I bet you it got worse because he has that crutch to fall back on. He has that crutch to do wherever he wants in his fantasy world at home. And therefore, you know, I don't know. That's just my interpretation. I wonder about that. Don't you?
Here's where I'm at in my life, where from the beginning, I essentially did not feel sympathy for him being a pushover. Because there essentially was no explanation. There was certainly an abusive environment, yet he's the CTO. They establish early on, he made this thing and is treated like... So... Yeah, to me, that was a tip-off that there was something not right about this person that wasn't an excuse or a sympathy-gaining thing.
Well, I think it kind of established that the boss was the alpha. I know that's a bullshit term, but you know what I'm saying. Like the heady, the asshole personality the driver, if you will, and he was the brains pretty much. And
yes. Well, and I wonder, all right, there's a lot of open questions that, for me, I would have loved if this was longer and their backstories were fleshed out a little bit more. Because the buy-in they ask you for, I think like the episode wanted you to be a little bit more sympathetic for when they turn and show how much of a monster he is. Because he's just a bit... They establish him early on as he's effectively movie monster. Here is your villain, no exceptions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you were bullied? You're going to torture a sentient being for all eternity. Go fuck yourself.
I mean, he does have the empty apartment and everything. But I guess that was the closest they got to establishing his sad, sad life, pretty much.
His sad, sad life in the penthouse.
That's true. That's true. Yes, his sad, sad life in the penthouse. So let's skip ahead a little bit. And as you mentioned, her waking up and him being a power hungry, well, not power hungry, being God in this world. And
they get to it quickly, which is why it gives me more of the TV vibe than it did the movie.
Oh, right, yeah.
They weren't doing a long play or a setup or building sympathy and showing a corruption of a character. They're just giving you... It is Twilight Zone-y, honestly. It's this parable. It's this person that wakes up in a shitty situation, and how are they going to deal with it?
In fact, I find... I was watching another movie that... I'm sure you know this, too. Like, anything where the audience knows nothing as much as the protagonist or the main character that we wake up with is very effective because we're in their shoes.
Yes.
So, got a bit of that going on, or like you were mentioning.
Yes, they give you just enough about him where there's open questions, but it's not blaring the alarms right away. So you get a little bit of insight to why she wakes up there. Yeah.
One thing I found interesting was the set and how, like, it's this thing between Next Generation and old school, because like it's really colorful, but it's still got the old school kind of vibe with the outfits and whatnot. Like especially the bridge.
The whole thing was retro futurism, but very high quality. It's not that they built what they could in the 60s with original Star Trek, which is in part why it looked the way they did. This was using modern set design recapturing the accidental style that happened because of their limitedness.
Right.
And so they didn't cripple anything. They made it all look good and rich, but retro.
Yeah. Excuse me. Okay.
All right. So for you, at what point were you tickled by the idea of what was made, and did you ever feel frustrated that the episode was about what it was without looking into more of what the VR thing he made meant?
I see what you're saying. Like, they could have explored more and that kind of stuff.
I mean, I understand that they wanted to tell this particular story. It's just my brain immediately jumped to, wow, that's a hell of an idea they have there.
Yeah. And I think they do explore, well...
They leave it for the ending, is the thing.
Oh, it's true.
I just realized I answered my own question. They save that for the optimistic ending, which apparently is not common.
No, not at all.
Black Mirror.
That is...
Oh, okay. That's one of the things I sent you. What was it? What was my exact... I said something like, oh my gosh, this is the happiest suicide I have ever seen. Because their whole goal is they are trapped. So they're never getting out. There is no body printing or anything like that. So their mission becomes, how do we end our existence? Like, they immediately resign, the new person immediately resigns herself to, oh, I gotta kill myself. Like, this is what has to happen. I need to not be tortured for eternity.
Oh, she does
basically,
try.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you get we skipped one of the best lines. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a oh my fuck.
Oh my fuck. Yeah, because she just instinctively pulls away, right? She's not trained, if you will. And correct me if I'm wrong, is it the boss character? Was he just beaten down so he knows how to act? Or is he have a program?
His reveal later is, despite him being an asshole, he fights him, and then tech guy, his name starts with a D, I forget, I figure I just watched it, damn it. He, in still real life, the boss brings his kid in, kid has a lollipop, he steals the lollipop, brings the kid into his little pocket fake universe, and then makes the CEO watch as the kid gets sucked out the airlock and dies.
That was fucked. Yeah, that was wonderfully, what the hell am I watching? Which I appreciate about Black Mirror.
Yes. It really hit home how much of a monster this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
The CEO is clearly an asshole, but not that bad.
It really shows you he had no qualms with anything he did in this world. Which makes you think people would fucking do that. And it's frightening.
You know, it's a thing we talked about briefly before on Bandersnatch, how as it was playing with the idea that, yes, it's media we are consuming, but the thing they wrote is aware that we as an audience are interacting. Mm-hmm. And the choices you made were, fuck it, let's see how interesting this could be. Whereas I was making the choices that I hoped helped the character the most.
Yeah.
You would be that piece of shit god.
No, I was piece of shit god because, like... oh, man, I was still in the world where these are just characters in this thing, and it became unreal to me. Like, I still had a level of autonomy to knowing, like, these are fictional characters at some level. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I got the ethical question for you.
But but you're right. I usually am the guy who goes on the light side, not the chaos, or the renegade from Mass Effect, if you will.
Yeah. Growing up, I would immediately go for the most evil, wicked, exploitable thing, and I honestly don't remember when that switched. Like in the game Black and White, you basically end up a god or a devil, and I immediately figured out you could hack the game and not hack, but you could make your townspeople breed a shit ton.
Okay.
And then you get so much power by sacrificing kids. So they hate you, but if you're ever battling someone online, you can essentially, like, roll and do good, and then when you need a power spike, you just breed, sacrifice kids, wreck the other town, and then you scale it back.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wouldn't do that anymore.
Oh, you wouldn't? At least not instinctively? Like...
No.
I think the most I ever did was go back and look at a lot of the shitty choices you could make. Like on YouTube and stuff.
I did start doing that after the fact. Once it turned fully into, for me, explore the decision trees.
Yeah.
Yes, but like my first run through, even with a couple of the restarts that it didn't offer skip to menu.
Okay.
I kept it. I was the good guy. So back to this.
Yeah, back to Callister, if you will.
This person had... You know, honestly, it makes it even worse. It's not even that he had a disregard, it's that he knew full well and knew how to exploit that torment. He still knew he was dealing with a person. He treated them as the people he knew. His playthings, yes.
Yeah.
But they were still those people to him.
Right. So my question is, like, is this the first technology of this kind where... It's this, like, fully autonomous, I'm creating people kind of thing in this world, which I'd say is answered later, but there's debate on whether the actual episodes are connected in any way.
Okay, so I've heard that there's potentially some high-level connections to things. I know nothing of it. Supposedly there's some Easter eggs in this one that call back to some other ones.
Oh man, I don't.
Also, shout out to the fact that his scanning device, I think, was a particular, slightly modified 3D printer.
Are you serious?
We have to ask Fur. He would probably know the model.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't think the world is aware that it exists.
Yeah. And remind me again, who was the bad guy that he kept on defeating?
I don't know.
Oh, they revealed him.
Was that the bro gym guy?
That could be. Yeah, that could have been just some bro from the office. I think you're right.
He trips over the guy's bag.
Yeah. And I think
it's him.
I love how they later reveal that one of the big CG monster is just another goddamn person.
Yes, when he pauses and then it just kind of sits there and acts like everyone else, like, we're on pause. That was such a great way to say it before even the CEO guy goes to talk to her, because it was the receptionist.
Yeah, good point. Oh,
and that was just a fantastic I love nonverbal transference of information, and that was just that simple, that sit and slouch of, we're at this point again, was a great way of showing off that it wasn't just some monster.
Right. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god.
So, one of the things I do appreciate from a horror aspect, they establish him as this terrible person early on, so when that first message goes out, and then it goes to the real world, and then you see she gets the request, and then she goes and talks to him, I started dreading what was coming. They made me believe that I was going to see something I didn't want to see.
I get you. Totally.
I was terrified. And then it turned out to be not that bad.
Right. But, like, even her frolicking, like, he's got this weird vision in his head on how things should be. And because they don't fit his perfect vision, as far as, like, hey, the world should be like this show that I loved growing up. And, like, he's super fucking fascist about what goes down in his world.
You know what I just realized?
What's that?
That's a bit of a callback to the Simpsons episode
Leader,
where the comic book guy, they're all trying to, like, democratically run the town or whatever, and they're fielding proposals and things, and the comic book guy ends up proposing the Vulcan-style reproduction schedule where you only get to have sex once every 7 years. And this guy projecting that in there, he only does the dainty kisses. Everyone's got Ken doll crotches.
Yeah.
Like, he has this weird puritanical thing going on,
right,
too.
Puritanical, perfect. Exactly what I was going for there.
Like, even in his fantasy, he's ashamed of that stuff.
He's like Frollo from Hunchback. Have you seen Hunchback?
Yeah.
Totally.
I have, I just don't remember it, really.
Oh, okay. Basically, he gets horny and he decides to burn someone instead of, be horny. There's a whole Disney song.
Advice to everyone, just be horny.
About Catholic horniness.
Wow. Yeah, so he's very puritanical. He's old school Wrath of God.
Yeah. So I don't want to. Obviously I'm not trying to get too political, but it is what it is. Like, things don't fit his vision. He makes sure that everything goes this way when he it doesn't matter that they have feelings. Apparently, I wish they would explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's where it gets into if this was a movie versus an episode where there was time to draw that out.
Yeah. Although you could get drunk without repercussions.
I saw the getting drunk piece as something he learned earlier on, that he did have to make a little bit of a sacrifice.
Oh, just so they don't, so they don't, some kind of sanity, some kind of coping mechanism, really. I
wonder, they paint it as so here's the thing, they kind of hinted to this.
Okay.
That they might not be the first iterations of any of those in there.
Okay.
And they probably aren't.
Oh, absolutely not.
And they even mention it, because when the plan they get is to kill themselves. And that's where it's revealed that all of them are stored in his fridge. So while those instances get relief, they will just be cloned and brought in and tormented again.
Sorry, I'm skimming through, and I just saw him slapping his Barbie doll crotch.
Yep.
The old ham boning, if you will. And then one of them says, "I miss taking a shit."
Yes, they hit such these normal things. Are like, oh, I guess it's a nuisance, but the sensation I perhaps would miss.
Right, of relief. There's a
and especially with how boring, they have an infinite procedurally generated universe, and their lives are ultimately stuck to this guy's narrow fascist view, this unevolving thing.
Yeah.
And all they're trying to do is avoid eternal torment. But what I was saying was, he probably ended up with the booze in there because there were versions that just psychologically broke, that he couldn't torment anymore.
And booze is one of the most accepted vices in history, I think. Especially among, the right, if you will.
Even in the original Star Trek, booze was a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, you would know more than I do. I don't know original series that much.
Oh, yeah, because it was a little bit of a piece of its era as well into the show.
Yeah, they had a bar in Next Generation.
The whole bar brawl.
Oh, bar brawl.
Yes. Well, they had the bar brawl in the original series for The Trouble with Tribbles.
Oh, okay.
I think that was Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah. So I suspect he went through several iterations and had to re-break.
That would make sense.
They give you the information in universe that he clearly has the ability.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention how many times did he have to practice it and perfect the device. Although they paint him a little bit as a wizard, so in universe maybe he makes it right the first time.
True.
Who knows?
Yeah, good point.
They leave it very gray.
Yeah. Oh, shit, this is a Christmas episode.
It is!
What's with the Brits and Christmas? Like, Black Mirror, they have a special...
Doctor Who's the same way?
They have okay, that's probably where they got it from. They have a Christmas episode that is super dark. Of course.
Doctor Who would flip between some of the silliest, most whimsical Christmas episodes, and then some of theirs were some of the biggest lore-building, monumental episodes in the show's history.
Okay.
So they do both.
Yeah. Oh, man, I wonder which one you should watch. No, I think you should watch Nosedive next. It's one of my favorites.
How disappointed were you that the blackmail that she had on herself was some pictures in lingerie and potentially fuckery Like,
yeah, it should have been something more. Come on, man. It's 2018 or whatever the fuck it was when it came out.
Like, maybe if she gave head to a hobo, then sure.
Yeah.
But that was... It fits in line and doesn't. Because
sure,
nothing was ever particularly crazy violent, but there was incredible body horror with the transformations. And the psychological horror of being tormented for all eternity and watching your kid die, getting sucked out of an airlock, or getting tortured, that's grade A adult grotesque stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And then lingerie. As blackmail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to say that I'm upset with the episode. I enjoyed it. I noticed a few things.
It should have been something weird, like fucking furries. I don't know.
Right?
I think so.
Or maybe she's also good at coding or whatever. You know, maybe she wasn't as good as purported to be.
Oh, yeah. Like she lied to get the job or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did... I'm disappointed, I suppose, that he starves to death. At the end.
Oh yeah, would he feel it? I guess not. I forgot how they
the way they painted it is the world gets deleted, but he's still there. Mm-hmm. So essentially, he's hooked up, and all he sees and hears is blackness.
Oh, okay.
And then at some point, his body just gives out, and no one interrupts him. So it goes that he has "Do Not Disturb" on the door.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's so weird in real life that by the time people would perhaps bust down the door to get to him, it would be too late.
Yeah.
I did read the Wikipedia article, and Brooker says he starves to death.
Okay. Without water, I mean,
yeah,
that'll do it for a few days or whatever it is. Let's see, what else is there?
I was hoping that it would be... So they were doing a little bit of... I felt a little homage stuff to Moon, actually.
Oh, okay.
With some of the sets and design being retro, but a little bit adapted.
Yeah, totally.
I was kind of hoping for maybe... I was worried it was going to end on a down note. I didn't know this was going to have a positive ending, so I was afraid they were going to go through...
Well, it's Black Mirror. Of course you expected it.
And then the evil god was going to win because he's smart and can control everything and fine. And I'm like, oh, please don't be that one.
I wouldn't have told you to watch it for your next one. Honestly, I wouldn't have. I'm not always going to tell you if it's a happy one or not. Obviously,
no, don't. I'll get through the rest of them.
Yeah. Because that's a bit of a spoiler.
I was hoping that it wasn't going to be that, but I was a little bit prepared for it. Like, all right, things have been a bit too peachy. They're going to pull the rug out from under me.
Yeah.
Then I expected them to just die. Like, it's what they wanted. They stated the goal. They succeeded. And then I would have, if they died, I guess I would have expected, instead of him starving, the real world would have figured out about it and would have ended a little bit in a Moon style, where suddenly, there's this montage of news articles and things questioning the ethics of it and what has been invented. What are the implications for actual mortality, things like that.
And that's where we run into the, running out of time and the conclusion, they get away, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So
instead, it goes with the conclusion of they continue with the wormhole metaphor. It was a bi-directional data pipe, and they ended up in the actual game world.
Yes. With Aaron Paul.
With Aaron Paul,
the King of Space,
691, King of Space,
bitch. Oh,
okay. So the receptionist, might have gotten the worst deal of it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't explicitly say, because she was on the planet that gets deleted.
Oh,
so is she just a consciousness that's stuck in a blackness?
That's a good question.
Did she come through? Is she on the bridge somehow? Is she somewhere else? Did she come through and then get spaced and then die? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
They kind of hinted that CEO guy was essentially going to be feeling the sensation of burning forever. The guy who plays him thinks he's actually on the ship and is fine, because if you're following the in-universe world, the stuff that was happening to him was invalid code that got deleted.
Okay. Oh.
But he didn't show up in the final scene.
Yeah.
So those are kind of some dark options.
Sure.
There.
Oh, I forgot about the pizza man. That was a big plot point.
Yeah, pizza as a distraction.
Right. Of course. And of course,
it was so simple and effective.
Of course, we don't have...
Even in the future.
We have screens on our doors, and we don't even have numbers on our doors. Weren't those also projected?
Yeah, they were all screens.
Like, come on. It's cheaper to put frickin' numbers on your door.
Maybe they need to
change them?
Be flexible.
I mean, everything's a screen eventually, I guess.
I found that to be a little bit silly.
Yeah.
The number 2? Really? Okay.
Yes.
But no, so they go through, they are in the ship. I thought then the rug was going to get pulled out from under me, that they were going to make it there. Yay, they essentially have Immortal Space Quest or whatever, and then they get blown up.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
It would have been. Oh, man.
But no, like, they get the... They essentially, some of them go through more hell than others, and then they get an ending where, like, if I woke up in that scenario, that would be my paradise?
I don't know. See, for me, like, they had to deal with people just power gaming and not doing real space travel. They have a lot of people being assholes and just playing the game. So I wonder if people, the rest of the real world would figure it out if they were successful. Like, there's one or two
like, what's
things.
this ship?
Either the rest of the world finds out about the ship of real, fully fledged human beings that are in this digital world, or they die. I that's got to be the only two ways.
No. If there ever was a sequel to this episode, it could be set 100 years, 1,000 years in the future, where this game world evolved and never shut down, and they were never discovered, and they're like the old school NPCs you run into.
Sure.
Like, what if that thing does become the Matrix later on, and like they, that'd be hilarious.
Basically.
They're the original seeds. They're the Keymaster in the Matrix. They're the Oracle in the Matrix.
Right. Then you get
they
that
were
whole
once
thing
people and stuck around long enough
of the controller-controlee kind of that whole deal, obviously, because the creator was killed by his own creation, basically.
Yeah.
So
essentially, they almost effectively invented the singularity, if you know what that is.
Not offhand.
The singularity is the theory that humanity could get advanced enough with its ability to simulate reality that we would all upload ourselves and we would run it at such a faster rate that we would get to experience more time in the simulation than in actual reality.
Oh, okay.
And then you could, in theory, simulate out, for all intents and purposes, enough time to solve the problem of, say, heat death of the universe or what have you.
Oh, I see what you're saying then.
There's different levels of it, and people take different extremes. But they courted that concept with this game world.
I gotcha. Yeah, totally. But I'm with you. I think there could be a sequel or a prequel, really. But we really don't do that in Black Mirror.
Supposedly, one of the other episodes acts as a soft prequel to this one.
Really?
But I don't know which one.
Well, I think I know, but I don't want to say anything, obviously, because and it's not directly before or after, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know, other than I know there have been some commentary. The little I knew going into this one, there were some references to the other episodes.
Right.
Some of them.
I had to look those up because obviously, you won't get them and you don't want to look at them, but I have to look those up because I didn't notice any. They're probably just one little hints off in the background. Very, very rarely do they actually become plot points.
Right. It's more just, oh, here's a thing. Well, and it was kind of like that for the 90s revival of Outer Limits until they tied it together with a special episode.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you remember it. I really liked it. It's worth checking out.
I never saw much of the Outer Limits. Like, I always was interested in that kind of stuff. Honestly, one of the
90s revival was good.
Oh, the 80s revival one?
The 90s.
90s. Okay. Yeah.
The 90s revival of Outer Limits. Yeah.
I only saw one-offs like, well, you know, it's funny. There used to be shows like this all the time. Like you said, Outer Limits, Twilight Zone. Well, maybe not all the time.
That Perversions of Science episode I showed you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was a fever dream. Kevin Pollak. Go look up Kevin Pollak with a robot on his dick.
Yeah. That was some low-budget spectacularness.
If you know who Kevin Pollak is, I mean, obviously he's a comedian, but he's also a dramatic actor and stuff. It's just like, what is happening? How did this happen? That's my favorite. When you go back in time and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this kind of thing. Those are my favorites.
You want to know what stands out as a movie of its time? How cartoonishly 90s The Mask is.
Oh, yeah. I loved that when I was a kid. Holy shit. All right,
anyway, USS Callister. Is there any... So they make it, he dies, he doesn't get any real comeuppance. He just kind of dies.
He definitely didn't get justice.
Quickly.
Like, the amount of suffering he caused, he got lucky.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the bone they're throwing him for essentially accidentally creating the singularity and creating mankind's salvation through immortality. I don't know.
You know, multiple child killer. Did he kill him more than once or just once? Or he just showed him that he could do it?
This version of that character only saw it once.
Right.
But that's not saying he didn't multiple times.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, yeah. It might have been his go-to.
Some of the interesting... You need to finish Westworld Season 2.
Damn it,
because I was going to bring up some commentary for that, and I can't.
We never have time. I should just watch it.
Yes, please.
You know,
I want to do an episode on this.
He doesn't want to do an hour show.
I know. You got to get through it.
I know.
Especially if you like this episode.
Sure. I'll watch it. I'll make a point of it, if you will.
All right, so what are some other fun things of this? They all upgrade. They all get their junk back, so they get to do cosmic space fucking for as long as they want.
See, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, they look down in their trousers, and the dude's like, "Yep, got my dick."
Oh my God, the real people could log in and have sex with themselves potentially.
Sign me up. I need to objectively see how bad I am in the bedroom so I can learn in isolation.
That would be a major ego hit. Like, oh my God, I'm terrible.
I thought I was good at oral. Oh man,
it's like a sandpaper. Fucking yeah.
There are some people I would force that on. Like, you have bad sex with someone, you're like, nope, you have to go fuck yourself for a week before we do this again.
Go learn.
Go fuck yourself as a message of self-improvement.
Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely. That would be a class.
What? I think you need to go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Are you not performing in the bedroom? Well, it's time to go fuck yourself.
Hey, and with the way they styled the mods, you could, Mr. Potato Head, could turn you into a monster, could turn you into anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, that whole thing would get shut down because of furries.
Oh, yes. Right.
Oh. All the macro people would be able to actually model their solar system-sized testicles.
Oh man, nothing would really get done. You know, it's funny, I saw this thing, and this is semi-related, basically saying how the Arab Spring, remember when that whole thing happened? The internet in Egypt, they shut down the internet, and they thought that would help, but actually it made things incredibly worse because people actually got out in the streets, and they weren't being, like, entertained by this thing that they always had all the time. So they were more likely to get out and do something about it.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
Plus, they also ended up making a mesh network to complain about the awfulness that was happening. So not only did they shut off the basic means of them to monitor communication, a highly linked mesh communications network sprung up and they organized.
Right. It's the Streisand effect on steroids.
Yeah.
It really is. So that
I want to see a follow-up of this episode with this virtual reality. I want to see an ethical follow-up.
Well, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if this thing existed and if they worked out the kinks, that could be a real weapon. Especially if there's the the dark net, if you would.
You watched, Altered Carbon, or no?
I have seen about 1 or 2 or 3 episodes of it.
Did you learn what they mean when they say someone spent time in virtual? Did you learn what that was?
I don't think so.
So it essentially was the same concept.
Okay.
The stack in your neck could be loaded into a virtual reality where you don't age or anything, and the interrogation tactic is not only do they torture you over and over and over again, they torture you to death and reload you over and over and over again. Of
course.
So, and there was a company that hired out, like, they would basically go kill your body, yoink your stack, plug you in, and get out whatever they wanted.
Holy shit. Yeah.
They showed a lot more gruesome things in that one than this show did.
Oh, I'm sure.
That was horrifying.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then they showed some of the psychological damage that, like, they broke, similar to my theory here, they broke people's original consciousness by torturing them too much.
And that's the thing is, like, so what we're talking about, like, I bet you there are people who just want to shut the whole thing down because there will always be those ethical, there will be a dark web version of this.
Totally.
Will they be
Absolutely.
would they be able to regulate it? Like, if the right people are in power. It's
like, that's the scary thing too, is
Pandora's box.
Well, and here's the scary and not scary thing of it, is your single path of consciousness will never be aware of the other ones unless they were to plug themselves in, and even then they wouldn't necessarily witness or understand anything firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
So it essentially is the same as you're living your life normally, and then that forked copy of you, all it is to this other you is you wake up in hell.
Yeah.
Whereas your source you continues on, not even knowing that perhaps it's happened.
Right.
Most of them, the rest of them in the real world, don't even know.
Yeah. That's fucked up. I'm sure you've heard the whole thing of, well, that's nothing new. Like, oh my god, we're in the Matrix, simulation theory, and all that kind of shit. Some people, like, think just based on, what do you call it? Probability, that there's more of a chance that we're in simulation than not. I don't believe that myself.
The simulation theory isn't necessarily that there is something... Alright, really quick. The simulation theory isn't necessarily saying that we are being run in some sentient being's simulation. Mm-hmm. It's saying that, you know how you've seen 3D holograms?
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's sentient at all.
2 dimensions projected into 3.
Mm-hmm.
If 3 dimensions projected into 4, so essentially time is our illusory dimension, mm-hmm. That's what simulation theory is.
Right.
There are people who have a psychological problem of, it's sometimes kind of called Truman Show delusion.
Oh, sure. I had that when I was a kid. Do you ever get that? I
like, genuinely? I toy with the idea, but, like,
no, I
genuinely believe
I genuinely
it, or did you just
wondered if I was the only real thing in the world and the rest was just this thing.
That's also a little bit of solipsism, but different.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I came to the conclusion that wasn't the case, but this was like when I was in fucking grade school, man.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder to this day.
I mean, possibilities. I mean, I even entertain the whole simulation theory thing. Like, this is a pretty fucked up timeline. I mean, it just seems like someone's cranking the knobs, really.
The part that they didn't toy with in the show, mm-hmm. that other stories of this type experiment with, is it possible for a character or a being in the simulation to find a flaw or hint that is what's going on.
Right, they had it so wrapped up. They had this all under wraps, and this is one company.
Well, and even for the characters that woke up in it, the only reason any of them know is because it was explained to them.
That's true. That is true.
The first guy, Walton, the main CEO, he even says the main bad guy, Daly, that's his name, explained to him his situation.
Oh, right, yeah. So, what else did I want to talk about? Fudge. I don't want to talk about fudge. That's not a good thing to talk about.
The cinematography was wonderful. All of the acting was wonderful.
Yeah, Meth Damon is...
I keep saying Meth Damon. His name is Jesse Plemons, and he is good.
He is good. He's actually been... this isn't his first rodeo as far as, like, being noticed, actually. Like, obviously everyone knows him from Breaking Bad as Meth Damon. Then he blew up a bit. And
yes, figuratively and literally.
Yes. And he's in season 2. He stars in season 2 of Fargo. He's very good there.
I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then, what's his face? Simpson, who is also in Westworld.
Oh.
Jimmy Simpson.
Oh, which one was he?
He plays Walton. He's the CEO.
I knew I recognized him.
It was fun seeing him in this, considering that role as well, and they play with that a little bit.
What was his Westworld? Wait, what's his Westworld role?
This is a Westworld spoiler in case anyone hasn't seen
don't
it.
Say
don't
it.
Listen.
You said, what's his character name?
No, this is season 1 spoiler.
What's his character's name?
He's the young man in black.
Oh, well, I'll bleep that out. Yeah, it totally is. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna write that down. Or I'm not gonna remember to do that. No, we'll see.
Yeah, no, bleep it out. That'll be fun.
I'll bleep it, and I'll put a big box over your face. Or something.
Nice.
I'll put a dragger over your face.
Yay.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of the other characters. Kristen Milotti, she's effectively the star of it. She looks familiar. She also was in Fargo.
Did you go over the awards already?
Was she the wife in Wolfensport?
Well,
we didn't.
We didn't. Let's. Okay. What award?
You want to do that really quick?
Yeah. What was this up for, and what did it win?
All right. Art Directors Guild Awards.
Okay.
It won television, movie.
Oh, take a TV movie.
Costume designers. It was nominated. Golden Reel. It won some stuff, and sound editing and mixing. Yeah, it sounded really good. I had this on my nice TV and surround sound system, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. I found that, like, especially with a lot of shows like this, with the one-offs, like, a lot of times they'll like a show in general, and they'll pick one, and like it's like the appreciation award. I've found.
So some other things, some BAFTA stuff. It was nominated for sound and production. BAFTA. Jimmy Simpson got Best Supporting Actor.
Really?
Saturn Awards, Jesse Plemons was nominated. These are nominations, they didn't win.
Oh, it's funny.
MTV Movie Awards, Most Frightened Performance. Kind of a shitty category. Hugo Award, it was nominated for Best Dramatic Presentation, Short Form, did not win.
But it just goes to show you.
Emmy.
Like, it was like recognized by the MTV Award and stuff like that. Like, why?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Like, hey, we're going to give this
really well
episode...
done.
Oh, it was very well done. I'm just saying it's not that much better than the rest of the episodes, personally, but that's just my view. I don't know.
That excites me to check out the rest. All right, so Primetime Emmys. It was nominated for cinematography, outstanding lead for Jesse Plemons, and music composition. Then, these next 4, it was nominated in 1. Single camera picture editing, sound editing, television movie, and it did win the Primetime Emmy for writing for a limited series, movie, or dramatic special. So Brooker did win a Primetime Emmy for that.
Oh, okay.
And his co-writer, William Bridges. Credit given where credit due.
Yeah, he won for this one awards, and I know San Cupertino or something like that ones too. Those are usually the two that I've heard. Sand something or other. But yeah, the next season should be coming. Nobody knows when it's going to actually come, but it'll be coming here soon. So
okay.
So that'll be a thing. You have time to catch up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through it. So this will wean me back into watching movies and movie-like things.
Yeah, sure.
Regularly.
So like, and we already hit on a ton of themes, but what do you think was played with the most as far as like today problems in this?
The opening scenes alluded to this game being a problem, and that people being disengaged as they were wasn't necessarily any weirdness or hostility to Daly.
Definitely.
That people were getting sucked into the world a bit, you know, kind of a toss-out to, if you remember from Christopher Nolan dream movie, Inception, that there were the people that would get lost in the dream world. This had a few call-outs to that and had a few notions towards it. Nothing really explored, though.
Yeah, they just kind of touched on it. It was almost kind of a misdirection of theme from the beginning. You know, like what you said, like, oh, it's this guy who just lives in this world, and this is his Truman, or not Truman Show, but like, he just spends his time, and this is his wow. This is what he does with all this time, and this is what's important to him.
I do feel like it perhaps is a commentary on MMO.
Oh, big time.
Players and the that I'm going to hopefully call the vocal shitty minority.
Yeah, I saw a documentary on World of Warcraft. The ones that got addicted and all that badness, if you will.
Really quick. When I was in middle school, I was in a D&D group at the local game shop with a bunch of people I didn't know, most of them adults, like they were my parents' age.
Sure.
And one of the GMs, he was away for a little bit, showed up again, people asked for life updates, and he's like, getting divorced, gotta sell the house, gotta move into a little tiny apartment, lost his job, all because of, not WoW, this is before that, was EverQuest.
Oh my god. The OG.
So, like, firsthand, I knew someone who just, like, he had kids. He lost everything to it.
Shit. And that's when they first really hit that that gambling trick, basically. That brain trick, if you will. I don't know.
It wasn't the loot box thing.
You're right.
At the time. It was just the time dedication. That world was more rewarding and satisfying to him in a way that reality wasn't.
And eventually you get the sunk cost fallacy, which, because you put so much into it, you don't want to stop.
This guy was one of the top people in the world on the entire thing.
Yeah.
When EverQuest was at its biggest, he had a notable name or something and just lost everything to it.
Oh, man. I still haven't seen the fucking Ready Player One, speaking of which. Have you?
I haven't. I don't have an interest in it. Maybe if we watch it as a group or something.
Kind of want to see it. I know it's supposed to be just a stupid movie, but I listened to the book, and it's a fun, stupid story.
The book is supposed to be good. I have not heard any people whose opinions I care about say nice things about the movie.
I think it's actually about the same reception for both, actually. That's
interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do not like the book.
Okay, we're off topic.
Sorry, well, I know. It's like partially related.
No, there's a lot of... All right, so you asked themes that I enjoyed that it played with the most. Honestly, if I were to critique the episode, it didn't play with that much.
Right.
What I was hoping for as it was unfolding, that it would play more.
I think it played with the stuff early, and then as it went along, it was more so just having fun with the things they have. Really, reveals.
While it had dips into horrifying themes,
right,
and some of those reveals were incredible.
Right.
Overall, it was a lighthearted romp.
It was.
It was the sci-fi story that it was.
As lighthearted romp as Charlie Brooker can get with child murder. Just like it's a lighthearted romp where we send a kid out into space. Isn't that what they fucking did?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And they describe how he freezes and cracks apart.
Oh, you're right. It is like a lighthearted romp. The fact that like everyone has to freeze and like chill as he's getting his goddamn pizza.
It is very humorous. Compared to, I suppose I was assuming they were going to play with the convention more because I saw Bandersnatch first.
Right.
And they played with those conventions really hard. That was a key piece of it. And it wasn't in this one.
They really played with that.
The only self-reflexive thing was they made another fucking Netflix comment in this one.
Did they? What? There was a Netflix comment?
The show, I think he says, like, yeah, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, Netflix.
Yeah. So Netflix is still alive in their world. Even though we have screens everywhere and, well, as we all know, maybe Disney swallowed them or they... I don't know. Netflix is on a weird deal right now. They're spending so much money. Like,
I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts.
I know. I don't know how...
All right, what was your...
So, what was my what?
What was the most surprising aspect of this episode to you? Was it the happy ending?
I think it was the fact that it was... Well, I had a feeling they were going towards a happy ending for some reason. Just because of the tone of the movie.
I think it's because they genuinely like the writers of it, so Brooker and the other person whose name I forgot. Uh-huh. I think it's because they do genuinely like Star Trek.
Yeah.
And every other Trek homage or pistache or send-up or whatever always kind of gives the finger to its optimism. The only other Trek homage thing that kept it alive and was funny and had fun with it was Galaxy Quest. So this hit more Galaxy Quest to me than a Star Trek parody, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh, you're right, actually. Yeah, it definitely had a Galaxy Quest vibe. Oh, man. I would not mind a follow-up of some sort if they did something like that. That would be kind of fun. As far as... Yeah, my favorite things were really... What I just already mentioned. Just like... The fucking... Everyone waiting for pizza. Oh, shit. I gotta do this thing before the raid. That kind of thing.
Okay. Was it just me, or was it a little bit out of place, the ever so sudden ninja skills infiltrate, break into this guy's pad, steal all the stuff?
Yeah, definitely. She was a bit too good at that.
Like, oh, this is what we wrote, so she has to do it now. Okay.
It definitely was a little convenient. Yeah.
I guess that's the only other critique.
I don't have much more, honestly. I'm too fried.
We don't need to keep going.
What's that?
We don't need to keep going. This is good.
This is good. It is a short episode. It's a short
blab.
And we've got about an hour. That's good. So, other than that, I would look forward to more of this. I don't know when I'm going to release this. Probably soon. Depends on when we're going to release other stuff or when we're going to do the other what the Flix we have planned here soon.
So, depending on the order of this coming out, check us out doing the Voltron wrap up, and or possibly I'm going to watch Black Mirror Nosedive next. So if you want to do another one of these for that.
Yeah. And hopefully we can get Chris on that too. So
yes.
Yeah. So
Chris was here in spirit.
Is there anything else you want to say about the episode?
I am glad to be finally getting into Black Mirror.
Yeah. It's a rough ride. It can be very rough. As you can see.
I know it's going to get more rough.
Have you seen? Here. I mean, you already saw child murder. And torture.
Because I knew this one was a bit more upbeat based on what I'd heard a little bit, I know it's only going to get more dark and depressing for the other episodes. But I'm ready.
Right.
It's well written and well done. So I'm ready.
Oh, man. Okay. With that, I am Xander. This is Dragor.
I am Dragor.
This is What the Flix. Good night, everyone. Bye.